it your love-hate letter to alcohol, and in the hook you're saying this is my love-hate letter to alcohol. Like the performance, I felt like it was candid and raw, but the penmanship was garbage. I mean, come on, bro. You can do better than this. Like you made Sunflower, you made Better Now. Well, I guess maybe not.
You just
Yeah.
not not
Um,
not the mid sentence realization.
like, oh man, like maybe this is just him, and we haven't realized it. But yeah, that's how I felt about this.
Let me put you on game.
Let's talk music, bro. Let's talk about none other than Post Malone. He is back with his new album, 12 Carat Toothache, following his previous three with Stony, Beer Bongs, and Bentleys and Hollywood's Bleeding. If you're not familiar with Post Malone, he is a singer, songwriter, rapper, trap artist from Texas. He's had some huge hits with like Rockstar with 21 Savage and a few others. He's had some huge features as well. He's a big time artist, and this is our first review of his music. So let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. 12 Carat Toothache. How are you feeling about the project overall?
I'm feeling mixed on this project overall. I can't even. I was trying to come up with some fluffy words to be vague, but as you'll see as we go through the review, I this album is definitely a mixed bag. I've always peripherally heard and enjoyed, Post Malone's sound and his music. So delving into a project is really interesting. He does a lot here in terms of being open and vulnerable about what he's going through, which I always love in my artists and in my music, in the music that I listen to. But it's definitely a mixed bag, quality wise and penmanship wise. But we'll get into that. How about you?
Uh, Post Malone said that he wrote this album or the bones of this album in around 12 hours, and it shows. This is one of the worst albums we've reviewed so far.
Hmm.
I think pretty easily. It's lazy, it's uninspired, it's just flat out bad at certain points. I think I just expected a lot more. Because I've liked some of the Post Malone stuff. I think Fall Apart off of Posty is like one of my favorite songs from him. I thought it was really dope. I even like the little, maybe because of Into the Spider Verse. I even like the song he had with Sway Lee and
Yeah.
Rockstar before it got horribly overplayed. I thought
Yeah.
was pretty catchy. But
Yeah.
this album, I think, lacks any of the charm that those singles have. Yeah, it's just not good. I think I just expect more from Post Malone, but it was a test to get through multiple times. Not
Yeah.
even going not even gonna hold you. Let's get into the track list. I thought it actually opened pretty okay with Reputation. I thought that was fine. I really liked the atmospheric production paired with the piano and the violin. I thought it worked really well. The Nirvana nod was a little bit on the nose on the chorus, the whole entertain us thing. But
Hmm.
overall, I really like what Post did vocally. Um, then that goes into Cooped Up, which is that's just a no. That joint is derivative, uninspiring. It's a blatant reach for a hit, and he missed. Um,
Yeah.
and then that goes into Lemon Tree, which yeah, I like the I like the I like the instrumental. And I think I can't even get through them. I like the instrumental, but like I think that's actually a good genre for Post Malone. I don't think that he really does well as a trap artist, to be honest. I think when
Hmm.
he leans a little bit more into the country rock influence, I think that that's a better lane for him. So the way it started out, I thought was fine. But the writing is bad. The It's overly simple, like simplistic. It's disjointed, and what is that accent? Like the way that he says, "Get me something better." It's so bad. But yeah, it's just I don't know. And it kind of it goes downhill from here. I'll do one more with wrapped around your finger. That's just It was way too poppy. The drums are really vapid and it's at a pace that's like all too familiar in a sense, like with a
Yeah.
lot of these pop hits, and it was just really plain and the chorus was bad. So yeah, it started off like pretty strong, I thought, with Reputation, but after that, like yeah, it gets bad.
Yeah, for me, I thought Reputation was decent, but I thought that he leaned way too into the auto tune. So that's really what turned me off because I actually do
Mm.
like the instrumental on that as well. But you know, he sounds like a sheep that's being herded by the producer. Just so much bad, you know, like it was bad. And then Cooped Up, like my God, like, just straight up by the numbers. In terms of a single for 2022. It was the most by the numbers feature that I've ever heard with Roddy Rich, just talking about coming up and Post Malone helping him and, you know, being in shows and, you know, doing arenas that he didn't really generate the buzz for, Post did. So it's like, why are you bragging about arenas that you're doing when you're not the headline artist? I think I find that to be a little funny. And you know, just like 8 bars, just not much there. Just his voice. He just needed his voice on the song. But Lemon Tree, my goodness, I didn't think that the singing could get worse from Reputation, and it just took a nosedive in Lemon Tree. Because just the subject matter was solid, but that country twang that he did was just off. But I do think that there's something there, and you're right in terms of his, you know, country aesthetic. I think he has the ability to probably, you know, I don't think he's gonna make an Old Town Road, but he could probably make a solid country banger if he really put his heart and soul into it. But then, yeah, Wrapped Around Your Finger, I thought that this was at least an earwormy song. So it had some redeeming qualities of being catchy, even though it was pretty repetitive. It has probably, you know, some of the most staying power along with the next track here, I Like You, a happier song. Like, and some of these song titles are so just like, what are you doing? You know, like I Like You, a happier song, followed by I Cannot Be, a sadder song. And he's so, you know, a lot of artists I guess go the route of being kind of cryptic and make you figure it out like a Kendrick, and he's gone the exact opposite direction. He's like, this is how
Spelling it
I
out for
want
you.
you, yeah, this is how I want you to feel when you listen to this song. So I Like You, you know, with Doja. I feel like she bodied this song, and she had a really solid feature. The hook was catchy, the synths had a nice touch, and the track overall had a decent bounce to it. This is in the context of this project, so you know, at least it was some kind of reprieve for me to listen to this. But then I Cannot Be. It's like you call this a sadder song, but the pace didn't match that sadness. The track rang hollow for me. It didn't have the catchiness or bounce, if anything. And the execution just felt really familiar. Um, it just wasn't, and Gunna was there, but he wasn't really spectacular. And you know, it kind of sucks because also Gunna is also in jail, so he's not going to be able to hear the reception to this song unless somebody kind of tells him via the phone. So then you go into Insane, and this is basically Young Thug impression in my eyes,
Mm.
because on the hook he sounds exactly like Thugger. He's taking his cadence, he's taking that like high pitch that he does, and I can see how some people might like this song, but it definitely wasn't my cup of tea. Um, and then Love Hate Letter to Alcohol. I want to be sensitive because I understand where he's coming from with this track. I understand. I appreciate him being candid and open, and talking about his substance abuse. But my God, could you be any more on the nose? Like you call it your love hate letter to alcohol, and in the hook you're saying this is my love hate letter to alcohol. Like the performance, I felt like it was candid and raw, but the penmanship was garbage. I mean, come on, bro. You can do better than this. You know, like you made Sunflower, you made, you know, Better Now. Well, I guess maybe not.
You just
Yeah.
not not
Um,
not not the mid sentence realization.
like, oh man, like maybe this is just him and we haven't realized it. But yeah, that's how I felt about this stretch.
I hear you. Um, yeah, I Like You is it's just bad, man. It's not. it doesn't have any like really redeeming qualities for me. I don't think this kind of pop fits him well
Mm.
at all. I think it might work better if it was just a Doja Cat song without Post Malone. I think this is way more her lane. I'm not even trying to be
Yeah.
mean at this point. It just that's just more what she does, and I don't think Post Malone is a good fit for that.
Yeah.
I Cannot Be is also just really bad. He's ventured out. It almost feels like he's like on a raft and lost. Like he's so far away from like what he does well at this point on the album. Like it just doesn't work. And the chorus just feels kind of like it took 10 minutes to write, and Gunna doesn't add anything at all. I might just be a Gunna hater at this point. Like it's just
Yeah.
insane. I think started out with some promise, and I had a really cool knocking instrumental and post intro. But again, like a lot of songs, it starts with promise, but it just goes downhill. And Love Hate Letter to Alcohol. My goodness. Uh, I like Fleet Foxes. I like their harmonies on the beginning. I thought it was really beautiful. And then it comes in with that pounding bass, the pounding instrumental, and it almost feels like you're in for something, and you're not. Um, and again, it's a sound you think he would excel with, but like you said, it's really just on the nose. Like it's the exact opposite of like When Sparks Fly, that Vince Staples track that we reviewed a
Mm.
while back, where you kind of had to listen to it multiple times to kind of get what he was getting at, and then you kind of got it, and the song like adds a new layer to itself almost.
Yeah.
It like this is like he's just really spelling out exactly what he's saying, but like in the most elementary way possible. Um, it honestly it almost sounds like a parody. Like
Mm.
remember those Lonely Island songs?
Lonely Island songs.
I'm on a boat. I just had sex. Like all of those, like they made like parody music basically, like
Mm.
really
Okay.
simple, spelled out like parody music. Like that's kind of what it so that's kind of what it sounds like, where he's talking about like I got my ass kicked. Like it sounds just like a Lonely Island song. So it doesn't work, man.
Yeah.
Wasting Angels. It sounds basically what I like exactly what I don't like about like current Maroon 5.
Mm.
Like I think they had a great debut album with songs about Jane, but since then they've just been making like objectively bad pop music. The
Mm.
chorus is bad. The harmonies on the end are nice, I think. I think they work really well, but that's really all you can say about the song. Euthanasia is cool. That wasn't bad. That was I like the ominous and pounding piano. I thought Post did a decent job. When I'm Alone starts out okay, but the lyrics on the second half get really reductive and really simple again. And Waiting for a Miracle I thought was okay. It could have probably benefited from a swell in the instrumental. It kind of gets pretty samey throughout, and
Mm.
I thought it could have benefited from like some of the harmonies on Wasting Angels. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, this stretch of the album isn't as bad as some of the stuff in the beginning. It's just okay for me. But yeah, it's rough. Well,
Yeah.
how'd you feel?
I mean, I'm just glad that the runtime for the whole project was like 40 something minutes because I really wasn't trying to be bogged down by this the whole week. Wasting Angels, yeah, real simple instrumental, smooth piano melody. Not quite a ballad, but I thought that him performing here in a more natural voice actually works pretty well, and he has a solid singing voice, so I can see the skeleton of his talent here. Harmonized singing like a choir on the outro was really nice. um Euthanasia, that was dark though. That was really dark, and it like I was clutching my pearls a little bit because it's almost a it almost glorifies like, you know, taking one's own life, and you can see how much of a dark place Post is in. So I'm kind of like, you know, praise out to him because making a song like this, you have to wonder what his mental is, and then, you know, you see his struggle with alcoholism and just his general appearance kind of always looks disheveled, and you see that with people that kind of struggle with depression. So you wonder what he's kind of going through personally, and if songs like this are kind of a telling of where he is or where he might be or where he was when he made this song. So I hope he's getting the help that he needs. And, you know, like if this is a kind of call for help, I hope that the people that are around him and that are close to him are kind of looking out for him. But with that being said, When I'm Alone, I thought that the upbeat production here was better than the last song, and I kind of like the soft rock. You know, and talking about reckless relationship, but pretty passable and forgettable. Waiting for a Miracle, I think this is probably the best song on this stretch of the album. I like this side of Post more. Nice atmosphere. But then, one right now, just kind of a waste of a Weekend feature, to be honest. He had a strong presence, and but the song is basically about them, I guess, or Post having a threesome, and it's like, okay, cool. You really need to bring Abel to sing on a hook for that. Fine. New recording, an acoustic version of Euthanasia. Basically, I guess him, playing around the studio and just kind of figuring it out. And an interesting way to end the album on kind of a blip. You know what I mean? It just really doesn't have any punchiness towards this stretch, and um, yeah, man, just a disappointing project. you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really too much to add to that. Yeah, one right now is just The Weeknd couldn't save it. I think we liked his album, we liked his run of features, but it's not enough to really save the track. And the new recording track, I thought that that was kind of a glimpse into what I might like about Post Malone. There's not enough on the track to really like it, and of course, it's just a stripped back version of another song on the album. But I think he could probably benefit, like I said, from leaning more into that, leaning more into some stripped back vocals, some really simple instrumental, some acoustic songs. I think he could probably benefit from that. But yeah, I think overall, I think we've laughed a lot about this album. These are some of the more fun reviews to do when it is something that we both just unanimously don't like. But overall, I think that Post has a better album in him. I try to say that for every artist that we don't like. And sometimes it's not true, but I think it is true for Post Malone. I think that there's a better album, there's a better project in him somewhere. But I don't think this is it. I think that he
Yeah.
should go back to the drawing board, and I think he needs to spend a lot longer than whatever time he spent crafting this, because there really isn't much that I can go back to. This bits and pieces. It's almost, we're a basketball prospect. It's almost like a NBA player that's really young that shows you some flashes here or there, but he's mostly just bad. But you know that if he puts it together, he could be pretty good if he can just put those flashes and turn them into some more sustained uh, bouts of really good play. So that's kind of how I feel about Post Malone. I just feel like he's really, shown some flashes here or there, but it doesn't really sustain itself long enough for any of these songs to really be called good, or this album to be called anything more than bad for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I sit with it.
Yeah. I guess three favorite tracks, if you could find them.
Normally it's a struggle because we have to like narrow it down, but yeah, this is rough for me. Reputation,
Hmm.
um, Euthanasia,
Hmm.
new recording.
Okay, I mean that counts. I guess for me, wrap it around your finger. I like you, a happier song, and waiting for a miracle. I guess is what I'll go with.
If
Um,
you had to recommend this to our listeners on a scale of hard pass to must listen, what would you say?
man, I waffled here, and then as I went through the review with you, I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely changed my opinion. I went from
I,
you ain't missing much to hard pass. This is a hard
I
pass,
brought
man.
you over to the dark side.
You brought me over to the dark side. I was like, oh, maybe there is something redeeming here, and it's like, no, 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 no. This album is a hard pass. I don't know if there's maybe you might hear a few songs because it's Post, and I'm sure he has major label money backing him, and they're gonna want to push this project, so you're gonna hear songs in the airwaves at some point, but there's just not. You can just pretty much pass on a lot of this. Listen to his old stuff.
Yeah, beer bongs and Bentleys is a lot better than this. Um, uh, yeah, it's a hard pass for me too, man. This is just not objectively not good. I mean, I'm sure there's some Post Malone fans that'll enjoy this, and I'm sure Post Malone himself, put a lot into this. I do, like you said, appreciate the personal aspects of this album, him opening up about his reckless lifestyle and losing teeth, and you know waking up and not knowing where he is and how that affects him as a person. I think it's really admirable to put yourself out there like that in your art, but the way that it's done, the execution is just not good enough. But
Yeah.
you know, we'll uh we'll close that out there. Let us know what you thought in the comments about the Post Malone project. Are we tripping? Is there a lot more on this album to enjoy? Is it more of a highly recommend or must listen for you? Please explain why, because
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you thought in the comments, and that'll do it for this review. And that'll thanks for checking out this segment of the Put You On Game podcast, where we discuss everything from hoops to hi-hats.
Give us your thoughts on the video in the comment section, and you can also find the full podcast in the link in the description below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.